For the past few years, the AI arms race has kind of felt like a heavyweight boxing match, right? Each new model comes out trying to be bigger, stronger, and just more. But something's changing. We're in a whole new landscape now where the old rulebook of bigger is better just doesn't apply anymore. So let's dive into what that actually means. And this whole shift was put perfectly by Ilya Sutskever, who's a huge name in AI. He basically said, the age of scaling is ending. In other words, just throwing more and more computing power at a problem to get better results, that strategy is hitting a wall. And that changes just about everything we thought we knew about this race.
And it's true, right? The old playbook was pretty simple. Whichever company had the most data and the biggest, baddest supercomputer was going to build the most capable AI. It was a race for pure, brute force scale.
So that really brings us to the big question here. If size isn't the only thing that matters anymore, then what does? Where is the real competition happening now? This is where we enter what you could call a new race for AI. This one is all about nuance, specialization, and what these things can actually do in the real world.
And to really get what's going on, we have to look beyond the simple, traditional test scores and benchmarks and see where the real action is.
The competition has really shifted to three brand new battlegrounds. It's not just about raw smarts anymore. Now it's about building sophisticated agents that can do complex, multi-step things for you. It's about having the infrastructure to deliver that power reliably and cheaply to millions. And crucially, it's about proving your AI is safe enough to use without causing a total disaster.
So what's powering these new sophisticated agents? Well, a lot of it comes down to something called context windows. Think of it like an AI's short-term memory. Since 2019, the amount of information these models can juggle at once has exploded by 1,000 times. 1,000! That's the engine making these complex, multi-step AI actions a reality.
But here's the reality check. A powerful model is completely useless if you can't actually deliver it to people. And a lot of companies are hitting a wall. More than half are struggling with lag and bandwidth. And for almost half of IT leaders, their own infrastructure is the #1 thing stopping them from doing more with AI. Suddenly, just being reliable becomes a massive competitive advantage. And then you have safety. And this is not some theoretical future problem. A whopping 34% of organizations using AI right now have already had a security incident. That's about 1 in 3. So being able to prove that your model is safe enough for critical jobs like writing code or managing a database, that's gone from a nice-to-have to a must-have. Okay, so with these new battlegrounds in mind, let's see how the big three, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google are actually stacking up, head-to-head. All right, let's start with coding, a huge deal for almost any business. On a test that measures how well an AI can solve real-world software problems, Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.5 actually takes a pretty clear lead. This tells you it's a model really built to do serious computer work reliably. But switch gears to visual reasoning, understanding images and text together, and the story completely slips. Here, OpenAI's GPT 5.1 is the clear frontrunner. It just shows how good it is at working with both words and pictures at the same time. And what about tasks that need some serious long-term planning, like running a simulated business for a whole year? Well, here, Google's Gemini 3 Pro comes out on top. It's just better at keeping a strategy going over a long period. The takeaway here is so obvious. There is no single winner anymore. So what does this all mean? Well, these different strengths mean each company is making a different bet. OpenAI wants to be the AI app you use every single day, your go-to. Anthropic is positioning itself as the super reliable, safe pair of hands for business. And Google, they're playing the long game, trying to own the whole thing, from the chip in your phone to the app on your screen. Okay, that's the high-level corporate battle, but how does this tech giant chess match actually affect you? Let's bring it down to the tech that's literally in our pockets every day. First off, just check out the insane speed of all this. This is the timeline for Google's Gemini model. We're talking less than 2 years to go from version 1.0 all the way to 3 Pro. That is just a blistering, breakneck pace of development. And all of that research, all of that furious competition, it's not just happening in some lab for bragging rights. It is all leading directly to the device you hold in your hand. So meet Magic Q. It's a new feature on the Google Pixel 10. And this is really where the rubber meets the road. We're talking about an AI that doesn't just wait for you to ask it a question, it proactively tries to help you based on what you're doing without you even asking. Here's how it actually works. Imagine a friend texts you about dinner. Magic Q, which has Gemini running right there on the phone's new chip, sees the text, glances at your calendar, finds the restaurant you're going to, and boom, it offers you a little button to share the location in one tap. No switching apps, no searching. That is Google's entire full stack strategy working for you right in that moment. So, what does this all mean for the future of AI? Where does this all leave us? Well, it's pretty clear we're entering a new era where the future is specialized. Look, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that the idea of a single best AI is, well, it's over. The whole one model to rule them all thing is gone. One AI might be amazing for coding, another is a genius with images, and a third is your go-to for long-term planning. The future is all about specialization. And that leaves us with a totally new way we need to think about this. The question we should be asking isn't who's winning the AI race anymore. The real question, the much more important one, is which AI is the right tool for the specific job I need to get done right now? That right there is the new frontier.